Hi, I'm Dave D'Agostino, founder of One-on-One College Pathways. Hope you're enjoying our weekly excerpts on recruiting. If you need any help and guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to us on X, Instagram, or Facebook. And please subscribe below and put a like down there so you can continue to get updates daily on all of our talkings regarding recruiting. Today's topic, as requested by you guys, is about the parent's role in the recruiting process. As we work with the student athletes here, we try to educate the parents as much or more than the student athlete. Our total goal is to make the parent the first educator in this process. They come in really not knowing what it's about or having a skewed idea of what the process is about. We do have an unlearning process that begins in the beginning, but we don't stop until we get that aha moment from the parent. So my advice to parents today, as we kind of embark upon that question, what should the parents focus on? Don't take a look at rosters. Don't take a look at offenses. Stop watching defenses. Stay off of social media. Nothing on there is going to tell you how your child is being recruited. How we try to help the parents understand who they should turn their child over to for the next 4 years and ultimately the next 40 years is we focus on culture. Now, our model is simple in nature but complex as we get into it. Its focus is on access, relationships, and really trying to make this process as predictable as possible. And that's where our proprietary model comes into play. So with access and relationships, as we get parents engaged with the college coaches, again, leave the X's and O's up to me, leave the roster structure up to me, and all we ask our parents to do is try to understand how that coach raises 15 of somebody else's children. Because in essence, that's what they are to your child. They're going to be a surrogate parent for the next 4 years. And I dare you to try this paradigm shift in your process right now. Instead of trying to find the coach that's going to coach your child for the next 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, go into the process with who's going to be a part of my child's life for the next 40 years. Because when you have that aha moment and you start looking at it from that perspective, you'll start taking a look at how they raise those kids, the culture that they provide day to day, and the things outside of the sport, basketball in this case, that they're providing your child as part of his education process. Once you get into the access and relationship part, these key words will start resonating in your head. You want radical truth and radical transparency. Until you can get to know somebody, you can't demand those things. And as a result, you will engage in meaningful work towards the end of your process, and at the end get that meaningful relationship. Why do we think this is successful? Well, in 5 years now, we've helped a little over 1,300 young boys and girls and their families navigate the recruiting process. And in today's world where the transfer portal is in vogue, I think we've saw close to 5,000 kids in the portal. We've only had 6 kids enter the portal, and all for good reasons. Again, we said we would share those this week, little bits and pieces as to what may be good reasons to enter the portal. But 6 out of 1,300, our control group, so to speak, that's a pretty good track record. And I think a lot of it has to do with our parents entering the process with the mindset, who's going to be a part of my child's life for the next 40 years, not the next 4. And any of those families that have engaged us, understand that's our process too. This is not a transactional relationship with one-on-one. We're trying to build a family. And a big part of that family, I didn't mention the fourth piece, but all those kids that are out there and those moms and dads that have gone through the process, as soon as your child jumps on board with us, they gain access to those kids as well. And to me, that's the true power in what we do. So breaking it down now, access, what do you want from one-on-one or any help for that matter? Access, true relationships. You want to have that process be as predictable as possible, and our proprietary model makes it that way. And really, we can get a lot done as a group. So those 1,300 plus student athletes out there, I want to thank you for being true to your word. And as I say, every time we announce a player on social media, I don't do that for the coaches. There's no recruiting that happens on there. That's kind of a bat signal to our student athletes that have been with us to say, we're starting out somebody new, as you promised when you entered the process, as a player, and then as your parents did as well, really not knowing which direction to go. The only ask I had of you was not fame, not thanks, but just make sure when we start somebody new that you reach out to me right away and see how you can help. With that, make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast network, our YouTube network here. And don't forget to follow us on the Real Voice of the Game podcast network. 25 great shows. We'd love to have you follow us there as well on our show, One Voice, Better Together. and actually any of the podcasts on the network for that matter. Thanks again.